Hi guys, it's Erik-Weisz with a new lockpicking video. This time I'd like to take a look at the Anker 3800, which is a rather unusual lock from the high security sector. Besides 4 standard pin tumblers, it contains up to 4 magnetic sliders, which are actuated by corresponding magnets in the key. I first encountered this model when I found a keyless double cylinder in a locksmith's scrap bin in Paris a few months ago. Unfortunately, there was no key, but at least I did manage to disassemble it and create a cutaway from it. That you can see here. That helped me a lot to understand the principle of these type of locks, but I did not attempt to pick it at that time. A few weeks ago, I received another cylinder in a different format, but at least it came with some keys and works fine. Yeah, unfortunately, this one cannot be gutted non-destructively. I would have to drill out this retaining pin here to remove the outer cover. But in any case, now the time had come to try picking it. And I had watched a few videos about the Anker 3800 before, but somehow the manipulation of the magnetic part always seemed a bit random to me. So I wondered how I could approach the attack a bit more systematically, and how, ideally, this could also work even without knowing the key. There's a lot of information available about this type of lock, so I thought that this should help developing one or the other exploit for it. For example, first tests showed that the standard pin tumblers are quite easy to pick, and the success is easily recognizable because there will be a clear core rotation. And taking also into account that there are only 4 pin tumblers and that there are also only 4 different key pin lengths, I thought it should not be too difficult to guess the correct key cuts once the main stack is picked. As for the magnets, we know that there are only 4 valid orientations for those in the key. They look like this. It can be either north or south up, or north and south lined up horizontally, one or the other way. And one could also now further analyze which orientation in the key corresponds to which orientation in the slider, and would end up with a chart like that. But this is rather irrelevant for our picking attempt now. In any case, having those 4 possible orientations means that it should be sufficient to have 2 different magnetic picks, so that the individual sliders can be manipulated in a defined way. And I came up with this 3D design, and after a bit of work and some 3D printing, these are the 2 picks I created. One has the magnet flat, inserted flat here, and the other one has it upright. So each of them corresponds with 2 of the magnet orientations, this and that. So in addition, we know that normally only 1 magnet in a row on the key is actually needed to open a given cylinder, corresponding to only 1 magnet in the respective slider. The magnets in the sliders can be arranged like this. They can be either on the side of the tip that basically blocks the cylinder when locked, or it can be on the other side. And also in master key systems, there can also be sliders with 2 magnets. Obviously no sliders with no magnets at all, but in this case one of the magnets would be manipulated or actuated by 1 key, and the other one by a different key. It's not the case that one key operates both magnets at the same time. So if we have a key, we can analyze the magnets in it to determine the correct magnet positions and orientations in each row. I can demonstrate it with this key, which is for this cylinder. First of all, we find out which of the magnets in each row is the active one. We can use a simple pin for that and check which magnets are attracting it. So we see on the left-hand side of the key, it is attracted by the fourth and by the third, but not by the second and the first. So we know that in this row, on this side, only number 4 and number 3 are active. And on the right-hand side, number 4 does not attract it, number 3 does not attract it, but number 2 and number 1. So we know the active magnets in this key are this one, that one, and that one, and that one. And now we can find out the orientation of the magnets by using, for example, such a small magnet, which I wrote the pole orientation on. This is the north pole, this is the south pole. Now we can check each of the magnets in turn, and we find that in this case the south pole is up, and in this case, we will see that the south pole is on the right hand side, and the north pole is on the left hand side, and we can also see that the magnet can stand upright. One has to be a bit careful here, because now the south pole is shown on the left, but actually in the magnet, in the key, it's the other way around, because south is attracted by north and vice versa. So what we know is here is south up, here is north south, and for the others, here again south up, and here we have south on the left hand side and north on the right hand side, which is basically the same as for this one. So now we know how these keys are arranged in the key. The magnets are arranged in the key, but what could we do if we did not have access to a key? Well, we can then use the 2 magnet pics to test the sliders in the cylinder individually. We have only 4 possible orientations for each magnet, and we have also only 1 magnet in each row. So with a bit of audio equipment, this should be possible to do. And now I will set up that accordingly, and see you back in a second. Okay, the Anker 3800 is now on the device, and I have attached an audio transducer to it, and I will now try to determine the active magnets and their orientation by using my 2 magnetic pics. I will start with the one where the south pole and north pole are facing up, depending on how you turn it. I will start with the north pole up, and I will try all positions on both sides in turn. First on the left hand side, nothing on 1, nothing on 2, nothing on 3, and nothing on 4. On the other side now, nothing on 1, nothing on 2, nothing on 3, and nothing on 4. So probably no magnet with the north pole up. And now I turn the pick and try south pole up. Again, nothing on 1, nothing on 2, nothing on 3, but something on 4. See? So I know 4 on the left hand side is south pole up. And now for the right side, There's something on 1, so I know on magnet 1 also the south pole faces up. Nothing on 2, nothing on 3, nothing on 4. So what we know is pin number 1 on the right hand side and pin number 4 on the left hand side are south pole facing up. Now I take the other key, the other pick, and I start with south pole on the left hand side and north pole on the right hand side. Nothing on 1, nothing on 2, nothing on 3, and hopefully nothing on 4. The other side, nothing on 1, nothing on 2, nothing on 3, and nothing on 4. So again I turn it so that north is now facing to the left. Nothing on 1, nothing on 2, something on 3, and nothing on 4. And here, nothing on 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can see it's only 2. So we know on the left hand side it's number 3 that has north to the left and south to the right, and the same for number 2 on the right hand side. And this is exactly what we also found out by analyzing the key. So assuming we have determined or guessed the bitting of the main stack already, we end up with these two charts showing both sides of the key. And with that, we should be able to create a complete key, basically, but at least some significant parts of it. And of course, I was curious to check if this works with the magnets. So I created 2 small bars and inserted the magnets according to what we found out before. And what I can now do is pick the main stack and then try to open the lock with these 2 bars. That's what I'm going to try now. There we have a core rotation, and now I use a special tensioner I made that fits quite tightly into the middle of the keyway, which allows for good core control. And I insert the 2 bars on both sides. This one has magnets only at positions 1 and 2 in orientations that we determined before. And this one has the magnets on positions 3 and 4, also in the orientations we determined. And now, hopefully, the lock opens. So that's surprisingly easy. And after this success, of course, I asked myself, would it be possible to create a complete key? And indeed, I succeeded. That's the key I created. And as you can see, it works as smoothly. And that was good news also for the cutaway, because of course I also created a key for that one. Magnets are arranged differently, of course, but this works also very nice. Yeah, as you can see, all this works pretty well. As a result of all this, I developed some serious doubts about the overall concept of the Anker 3800, because from a security perspective, I think it's a serious flaw that the 2 locking mechanisms can be basically analyzed independently from each other, as demonstrated before. There's also a very interesting video by Walter Belgas about a keyless attack on an Anker 3800 master key system. I found this very useful for my own analysis, and I add a link to that in the description. Well, I think this was a lot of information, and even if the lock is now a bit demystified, I still have to pick it, of course. So let's see how all this theory can be put into practice. Here's the key again. Works as expected. And like before, I will pick the main stack first. There we have the core rotation. Let's change the tension again. And now I use my magnetic pics. I know that this one, the one with the magnet up, needs to be used for number 4 on the left-hand side, which is loose, and number 1 on the right-hand side, which is binding, is now loose. Number 4 is still loose. And now the other pick for number 2, which is loose, and number 3, which is binding. So now also loose. Number 2 is now binding. Now they should both be loose, but now something on the others is binding. Number 1 is now also loose. Number 4 is now binding. It's now loose, but still not open, unfortunately. Back to the other pick. And I switch the picks now, and I think number 4 now. And there we go. It's open. As I said before, unfortunately, this cylinder cannot be gutted non-destructively due to the retaining pin. However, I think it should be evident that I did not manipulate it and that was a valid pick. In any case, I hope you found this interesting and enjoyed the video. If so, stay tuned and have a good one. Bye bye.